The first storm that we were able to utilize this unit on was a storm where we got, I believe, 34 inches of snow.
No,
So,
that is so much
needless,
snow for
yeah.
anybody.
Anyway, normally our market is about 50 inches of snow annually. This year we got over 80. It was definitely a banner year. It was a great year to be in snow and ice management. A lot of money to be made, but this made it so much more profitable, especially in those tighter accounts, because there's no secret that big box work has tight margins,
Mhm.
and this definitely made it so that we could better utilize resources and be much more efficient.
Okay, well, Nick, thanks for being here. It's your first year. You got a back blade, and so I want to hear where you're based, what kind of snow operation you've got, like what kind of clients you serve, and what kind of market you're in, and kind of just introduce yourself and what you got going.
All right, so Nick Donahue, owner of Donahue Lawn Care out of Thompson, Connecticut. So that is smack dab in the middle of New England, about an hour outside of Boston, in about an hour outside of Providence, Rhode Island, and about an hour outside of Hartford, Connecticut. So smack dab in the middle of that tri-state area. We serve Massachusetts and Connecticut market. We have a little spillover into Rhode Island, but pretty much Metro Boston. If everyone's heard of Worcester, Massachusetts, second largest city in New England, that's kind of our market. And our market mainly is full service maintenance, landscape contracting, but we do a heavy amount of snow, mainly commercial industrial. Industrial kind of being my home where I like to be. So a lot of logistical shipping hubs, UPS, stuff like that, big box stores, 55 and over communities, stuff like that, industrial manufacturing. So that's where my niche is as far as snow and ice management goes. We've been in business for about 10 years now, and company started out of a need to kind of explore some options. I worked in the public safety sector for 22 years, and both police, fire, and EMS, and wanted to change, and had some good dealings with the background of all things landscape management, so to say. Anyway, and one thing led to another, and now we have quite the large company that does a lot. And this was the first year that we had obtained a backblade, and it's been a fantastic year, productive.
Cool. I mean, it sounds like you've got an extensive history, like with work and practical things and the
Yeah.
needs you responded to and where you wanted to go. I mean, congratulations, by the way. It's not easy to just like switch careers and have things take off. Like that's
Ye- Yeah, yeah, it's a lot. So now we have a landscape company, we have a transportation company that's a logistical shipper of horses, equines all across the country, and then have a small rental division too, as part of our landscape company. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I hold the role in my community as a first selectman, which is more or less a town administrator too. So between all this, I'm extremely busy. Yeah.
and don't believe in sleep.
No, but who sleeps? Yeah. And have a family. So yeah, there's that too. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, we're all a little bit crazy. Like none of us are just bored figuring out what to do. Is like we're all pretty slammed in. When you're in the snow
Oh yeah.
game, you're just
Yeah.
that's part of it. So, what kind of fleet do you run currently for your plowing operation?
So generally speaking, we're more on heavy equipment side, loaders, skid steers, both track and wheeled. We do have a fleet of dump trucks and F-series trucks that we outfit with plows and sanders. Traditional in this market in New England, Fisher is a big name.
Okay.
So a lot of what you're seeing up here is that type of brand. So V blades on the front of trucks, or expandable front blades.
Mm.
So I am definitely a minority for the hopefully the short time, because I really do see value in your product, and I did give it a shot, and the productivity was not even a comparison to even we have trucks with 10-foot front blades, and that wasn't even a comparison,
Wow.
especially when it came to doing big box and logistical shipping hubs. We put our blade that we got, which was a 20-foot model, so pretty large wings, on 3500 diesel pickup truck dually. So obviously built for that extra width, that weight, in built for pulling that extra snow. But what I wanted it for is our kingpin work at these logistical centers and even big box stores. Um, clearing under kingpins quickly, efficiently, pulling snow out compared to the traditional backblading with skid steers and smaller machines. So that definitely came in amazing. And then when it came to big box stores, between your alleys and lanes, you're able to pull out to your alleys from your alleys to your lanes. And then, a big loader comes with a 14-foot pusher and just gets it out of there.
Mhm.
So traditionally we would do alleys with skid steers or smaller equipment or plow trucks, which can
Mhm.
only take, I don't know, 10-foot minus bites. So
Mhm.
when we can take an 18 or a 20-foot bite and drag that, 500, 1,000 feet, you can imagine the efficiency there. And then just keep going around and around and around. So we had the first storm that we were able to utilize this unit on was a storm where we got, I believe, 34 inches of snow.
No,
So,
that is so much
needless,
snow for
yeah.
anybody.
Anyway, and normally our market is about 50 inches of snow annually. This year we got over 80. It was definitely a banner year. It was a great year to be in snow and ice management. A lot of money to be made, but this made it so much more profitable, especially in those tighter accounts, because there's no secret that big box work has tight margins,
Mhm.
and this definitely made it so that we could better utilize resources and be much more efficient.
Oh, wow. Man, I think we just wrapped this whole thing up right there. Yeah, that's incredible. So
Yeah.
like what helped you with that? So obviously margin are tight. You said this makes it better. Like it just what is the sweet spot? How did it make your life easier and how did it make you more money, would you say?
Well, obviously, you can double to triple your capacity to move snow. You're a lot faster. There's no having to back up. It's kind of a straight shot. And we did utilize it a little bit on residential. I think my sweet spot with residential will be us investing further into your company with smaller blades. 20-foot blade for residential is probably not the sweet spot, but I
It's
would say
huge.
that, yeah, I would say that, a 16-foot maybe would probably be that sweet spot.
Yep.
For what we do, we're probably 95% commercial industrial, maybe even 98%. I do very
Okay.
little residential work, but we still do have that niche. But it worked well for over 55 HOA communities, worked really well for our industrial space, and yeah, and it was great. So as far as game changer, the ability to go wide and short, because at our shortest we're about 9 feet and our widest were about 20 feet. So really, depending on the amount of snow that we were trying to track out, and as you can imagine, we were getting rates of 3 inches an hour, 4 inches an hour. It was very normal to be pulling 6, 8 inches of snow in a single pull, which, as you can imagine, that's tough for any plow, whether it's
Oh
a
yeah.
large loader or a plow or a pull plow. And your back blade really did a great job doing that. And I know there are a lot of naysayers as far as it's going to
Yeah.
clog the exhaust, it's going to break or overheat the rear axle, it's going to ruin this, it's going to not be able to pull, you're never going to be able to pull that. I will say that
Oh
I
yeah,
never.
2 inches. Yeah, sure.
Yep,
Anything can do
it's
two
only going to work
inches.
on 2 inches. Let me tell you, at times we were pulling, upwards of 10 inches at a time,
Man.
and it worked, and it worked well. The other thing was that I think there was a lot of, and I know because I had all my guys on my sites, and they're like, "Oh, that thing's never going to scrape. How is it going to work?" And it scraped amazingly. It contoured the ground, even at 20 feet wide. It's got some left to right, and it scraped great. And I think the biggest takeaway for me, why I picked your company over other competitor companies, was
Tell
your
me.
engineered system and how that hitched up. Now, a lot of your competitor companies completely utilize the whole bed of a truck. You have to take off the tailgate. You lose the whole bed of a truck. And
And
your
your tow
system
hitch.
and your tow hitch. Your system literally takes a minute to put on with one
Hmm.
person, and it's two pins and it's on and a plug. And it's equally off the same way. There isn't a huge amount of prep that goes into it. It can be
Hmm.
easily taken off, stands alone, back up to it, hitch it up, you're gone. And for me, having to install a huge rail system and whatnot. And that was another thing. They say, well, that's a lot of rear weight, blah blah blah. I tell you, I think that hitch is incredibly engineered. How it was bolted on, the welding was second to none, and just how it worked seamlessly with the rest of the truck was amazing. As you know, I drove about 1,000 miles to come and see you, I think.
Hmm. It's
And
a big
I
commitment.
it was a big commitment, and I will say I was a bit at first. I was hesitant, right? Because everybody talks
Yeah, of course.
dealer support, but the components on this are so little. There really aren't many working parts and components. It's so very simple. It's overbuilt. It's fantastic. So I drive 1,000 miles to come get this. You guys do an amazing job installing it in about 4 hours max.
Hmm.
And then we drove that 20-foot blade home on a 3,500 Dodge Ram dually pickup. I will say, I thought it was going to be a bad ride. It wasn't. We went 1,000 miles over a day and a half and came back, and we were good to go.
Man,
It,
that's a
it, it
big blade to
it
travel
is a
with
big
that
blade.
far.
Yeah, and it fit well within a normal lane on a
Yep.
highway.
Hmm.
It was close enough to the truck where it wasn't scraping or hitting or anything like that. And yeah, it was an easy ride home, and we went through New York, Manhattan traffic and tolls there, Jersey Turnpike, stuff like that. So
Wow.
it traveled well, and like I said, we used it for I think 3 storms subsequently after. We got it kind of mid to late season. I think we
Hmm.
met each other, I want to say it was mid-January. So our seasons are usually January, February, in the first week of March heavy. This year
Okay.
we were all of December, all of January, all of February, and half of March. So it snowed about every 10 days. So yeah, but
That's a
no,
big
it's a
change.
huge change.
Man,
Huge.
you put it to the test, even leaving like such a big trip like that with our biggest blade in the world,
Yeah.
on a pickup truck. Like that's no small feat. And then fitting through those tight lanes, through tolls, through everything. I try and explain, like, yes, this thing is mega, but as long as your mirrors didn't hit anything when you're going through a
Yeah.
drive-through or a toll, you're
Yep.
you're fine. If you're
Yep.
comfortable running trailers, this should be a breeze for you. It's a bit of
Mhm.
adjustment because you're not looking forward when you're plowing all the time. You're just checking your mirrors as you're going a little bit. But for trailer
Mhm.
guys, that's business as usual. That's nothing out of the norm.
Yeah, no, it's an easy tow, so to say, and I had aftermarket suspension on all my trucks. We use like a Timbrance puck
Mhm,
system.
mhm.
But to be honest, we really didn't have to utilize that with this product. You could still definitely still use it without any type of modifications of suspension, especially on
Mhm.
those 3,500 trucks. Yeah, so it was great.
It's a beefy, good-looking truck you got there, man. That's for
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you make that blade look good. I mean, the blade's nice, but on that truck, the way you got her set up is, it looks real mint.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so how was so two questions, I guess. How was visibility, and can you talk a little more about kingpins? How did it go? Did you pull your mirrors in? Did you do it on driver's side, passenger side? Like, give me a little more on that.
So yeah, I did it mostly on driver's side, so I could have not only visibility from a mirror that I did not pull in, but a good line of sight visibility there, where I tucked my right side, my passenger side in, because as you can imagine, anybody who does logistical shipping work, whether it be a large, an Amazon, a UPS, a FedEx, or distribution center work, it can be crazy with yard trucks and trailers.
Mm-hmm.
So I folded the right side in and extended the left side with probably maybe not a 90, probably not a 180, but probably 170, 160. So it's a little in. So I get a little bit, but that went well into the kingpin point and probably a foot and a half over. So we were able to utilize and go down, 100, 200, 300, 400 foot lines. And we just went and then scraped and out, scraped it out and kind of just kept making circles. Normally something that would take, a skid steer or a team of skid steers hours. I think we did it in an hour, which I think they hold in we do one of the largest shipping distribution hubs in New England for that carrier I spoke, and I want to say they have about 600 plus trailer spaces, if not a little more. So yeah, it went well. It went well, and I will say that the customer was really surprised too. As you can imagine, the Lakes region, you see a lot of pull plows, back blades, but in New England, it's still up and coming. So I think we were able to really prove to our customer that this was an efficient option, and it really turned some heads with customers. And I think that's something to make note of, because when you're selling to people, it's all about efficiency, how fast you can get it done, how safe you can get it done, and being able to combine both of those things when providing to a large scale commercial industrial company, and make them say, wow, that doesn't happen often. So
Yes. They
that's
are
something
hard to impress. They are unimpressed
very,
about almost everything.
very,
Oh, yeah,
very.
we've heard it before. Sure, you're safe. Sure, you're efficient. Show me something different.
Yep, yep.
Okay, I'll show
So
you.
So I'm excited to get more of these blades on our fleet as we move forward, in various sizes, and I think there's definitely a space and a home for that in New England, very much like there is in the Lakes region and in points west. So I'm excited to see more of this come into New England, and make some good connections and get some more blades out here, because it's a rock solid product that's well engineered and well manufactured.
Thank you. Man, it's got to be fun being a trendsetter too. I mean, everybody's got to be watching, like even your own guys, right? Like what just went by me?
Yep, yep, yep. And if people aren't talking, you're probably not doing something right. So, and I
That's
think we got plenty of
true.
people talking. So,
No kidding.
yeah, yep. So it's
Yeah,
good.
this
It's good.
guy, sure, he's the boss. He doesn't know anything. This dude put his thing in. It's like, well, you run big iron.
Hmm.
You sounds like you run compact equipment and you run trucks,
Yep.
but like nobody's even seen this thing in a lot of places, which is like, well, why isn't it here? It's like, well, I don't know. There's a lot of cowards. Everyone's afraid they want to fit in, but the real
Absolutely.
leaders and the innovators, they go head first. We get a lot of things wrong when you try a product or an idea. It doesn't work, but
Hmm.
all you need
Hmm.
is one in every five or 10, and it pays for the rest by a long
Yep.
shot of all the other attempts. And this is
Yep.
one of those things where there was a lot of guys that were courageous. They were scared. They get made fun of even when they talked about the idea. And then you show up at a site like that, and like the customer and your guys, everybody's like, "Oh, yeah, we were wrong. You
Yep.
knew, and none of us did."
Yep. Yep. And to speak to your product, historically, and I don't want to put any manufacturer names out there, but a lot of front blades in recent times have changed their manufacturing standards. And
Mhm.
when it comes to expandable front blades or V blades, we have been having a ton of issues with bent parts and bent wings and bent trip edges. Clearly, things are being manufactured differently, unlike the product that we got from you, which was super overbuilt and well manufactured.
Old school, like an old fridge.
Yes, yes,
Just like it's
yeah,
just gonna keep going as long as you want to run this thing. It'll be here. Once in
yep,
a while, if you run it hard, it's gonna need a little TLC. But the idea is like it's the opposite of all the modern production in our space. Is like how light and fast and cheap can we produce it and
yes,
maximize shareholder value is like we're
hmm,
the opposite, which bites
yep,
us in the ass plenty because I learned like a lot of dealers were like, oh, we're not sure we want to work with you. We make most of our money in parts and you don't break stuff on your
mm,
blades. I was like, well,
hmm,
things can be broken, but yes, you're not gonna get
sure,
rich fixing our blades. It's not the same. We're overbuilt. We took it seriously. We made it simple. So, if you can, operate a screwdriver, you can probably fix most things on our blade. There's no complicated diagnostics. You're not plugging into any readers. You can just operate anything. You can fix the blade. And you had to probably bonk something pretty good or make a major misjudgment to have some type of failure. And even if you have that, it's a pretty quick and easy process, especially with that safety cylinder. You can swap in place if you did catch a wing on
Yep.
something.
Yep.
Really
Yep.
easy because keeping you on the road, keeping you producing, even when you have bad bounces, is the name of the game. And so,
Sure.
so that was a priority for us: is how do we keep you going? And then in the morning, I don't think you popped any cylinders, did you?
No. Nope. Nope.
Right. So yeah, I mean, most guys don't, but even if you do, to be able to put in a safety bar, move
Yep.
on, finish your route, like that's a big deal. Downtime kills every business, especially in snow. Your
Absolutely.
window's so short.
Yep. 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 And I do have a cylinder on hand. And I will say that, probably my first hour of use, there was a couple learning curves, and
Tell me about it. Let's hear all
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, we caught a couple edges, stuff getting next to trailers, stuff like that. But stuff that I was able to manage on the spot, and not break anything. But I ran down curb lines, in front of manufacturing businesses and stuff like that. Because most of what we do is zero tolerance curb to curb work. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, and it worked well. Getting right up to a curb and going down the line. I saw and I tried it and it worked well, is sidewalk lines.
Come on.
I I had seen in some of your social media marketing, people would extend a wing and
Mhm.
drive down a line of a sidewalk and not fully drop the plow and just float the left side or
Yep.
whatever side you're winging on
Yep.
over a sidewalk line. And we did that. It worked great. Yeah. Yeah.
How
That's
good is
good.
that? I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot of effort, time, hassle, cutting down sidewalks like that. Also,
100%.
you said same with the kingpins, is before it would have taken you a couple machines.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
not only did it take those machines, it took a fraction of the time, if I'm not misquoting, if that's I heard
Yep.
correctly,
That's
is you did it
correct.
faster with less equipment.
Yep, yep, and it's well balanced. We cleaned everything, serviced everything, put it away for the season. We were able to hoist those plows. They're extremely well balanced. They hoist well. I know
Oh,
that's not a big deal, but when you're stacking stuff into garage space, it's it makes it so much easier for that. So it's well balanced, left to right and front to back, from where your connection point is, which is notable.
yeah. Oh, yeah, certainly. And one of the unique things that we have here too is if you did want to drop it on site, not your blade that you have set up, but if you did want to drop it on site and a guy has a tractor with 3-point hitch or a guy has a
Mhm.
skid steer compact loader, is the whole thing could be used that way for all three items, which
Mhm.
to me as a snowplow operator is like something's going to break and you never, it's like whack-a-mole. And
Mhm.
so, the ability to keep
Yep.
strong utility and swap between equipment is very distinct to keep
Yes.
things moving.
Yes. I think I don't know if there's many other products, but none that I know of that can swap between a truck, a tractor, a skid steer, and a mini articulating loader,
Mhm.
all in one thing. Your universal plate that you have, universal skid plate that you have on the rear of your units, and yeah, it makes it very versatile.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the focus, is like, how do we just snow plowing is crazy. Your head is so full. There's the urgency, there's the snow, then there's the calls, and there's the equipment complaint or equipment failures, challenges. There's so many moving dynamics that, and if we can reduce part of that stress load is to like, but you don't have to think about the equipment at least. Like that's
Yep,
a huge reduction in all the things going on that allow you to have better
absolutely,
clarity for the tasks at hand. So
absolutely.
if I can ask one question, and then we can wrap up here pretty quick. But so you were doing kingpins and reaching for with equipment previously. It
Hmm.
is faster. Like how would you explain it to other guys? What's the value compared to running a loader in a big yard in kingpins? Because you do both. There's a lot of dispute online that no, it can't do a job of a loader or a skid steer or whatever. Now, it's not going to stack. We're all painfully clear. It is not going to stack like a loader. But as far as clearing square footage and getting into areas that typically have been reserved for bigger equipment, how have you? What's your experience been like that? And what would you say to those guys?
I would say that right now we're in a unique place where a loader costs anywhere from 100 to $300,000, and the pusher box for that can be anywhere from 8,000 to $50,000. And when you can get a 50 to $60,000 pickup and a 12 to $18,000 backblade pull plow, the numbers don't lie, right? So your ROI is much better. You're not having to have a mid-size loader that you had to snow lease for $3,000 or $4,000 a month sitting on accounts. You can make a fairly small investment to a resource you already have and make that equally as productive.
And you're also not chugging fuel like you would be in a big loader. There's no
Yeah.
shipping to site costs on top of that. You don't need someone to drive to site to hop into the thing. That
Yep.
hopefully the battery's not dead. Not that that little stuff happens.
It
And
happens
then
every day.
for anybody
Yep.
that tells the truth, yes.
Yep.
And then the other thing is like if you just bid the contract at a fair contract rate and you reduce your cost without compromising quality,
Hmm.
this is all yours.
Yep.
You just got a big bump in profit,
Hmm.
and your expenses are also lower. It's like that.
Yep.
Isn't that the sweet spot? Isn't that the dream?
Increasing arguably your efficiency by 300%, which I think was a very fair statement, whether that be residential driveways, HOA, condominium complexes, big box, industrial space. It has a home in each of those spaces, regardless of what you're doing. And to say that that doesn't grossly increase your speed and efficiency would be a blatant lie.
Yeah, totally. And that's the name of the game. Is basically you max out what your equipment can do within the healthy range. And
Hmm.
then the faster you can get it done, like that's the win. Because sometimes there's second rounds or whatever, but you're
Absolutely.
trying to clear as much area as fast as possible. That's where your profit comes from. So if you could do this before, and now you can do this without increasing costs, like that's what I'm having a hard time explaining to guys. Is like, no, you saved money and you made more. Like your
Absolutely.
profits went up because you could take on more work and your costs are down. I know it seems impossible, but this is a measurable claim that contractors like yourself validate all over North America.
Absolutely. In all sizes and in walks of life, contractors, everyone from your guy who does 10 driveways to your people that do multi-millions of dollars worth of snow management.
Mhm. Totally. One last point on the distribution yards. Pulling out loading docks or loading bays or however everyone calls them, something a little different. I'm not like a paranoid person. I'm not worried about danger, but it does seem safer to back down a
Oh,
laneway and
absolutely.
pull out than
Absolutely.
the opposite.
Absolutely. We have custom fabbed skid steer pull plows that you have to go in and they're on a beam and you pull out. But you can never see your left to right oncoming. So
Mhm.
these distribution centers, especially when goods are coming in and going out. So, your 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. time frame is like a city in itself to get all orders in out for the next morning.
Yep.
So it's a madhouse. It's inherently dangerous. And we really want to try to be as safe and minimize risk for damage or injury as much as we possibly can. So if there's an engineered change, which the engineered change would be from backing up to driving forward,
Mhm.
visibility improves, workplace accidents, industrial accidents decrease. You can definitely see a trickle down effect from just a small engineered change within how you're
Mhm.
doing business.
Yep. Yep. 100%. And again, that mental load is like one less thing to worry about.
Absolutely.
That the back end of your machine is hanging out, and you hope these drivers who are stressed, who just came off the highway and navigating into the yard, and they're already late, and their boss is mad. They're not thinking about you.
Hmm.
They're trying to solve their problem. And if you happen to be there, like it doesn't matter whose fault it was, we all have a big problem.
Absolutely.
So for that safety reason, for sure, or grabbing aprons at the front of entry to a facility, you can just back up without going into the road. Pull that the same way as like there are actually several serious safety benefits here.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Well, man, this is amazing. I'm glad you took the risk. You had courage. You took some heat from the boys and came out on top knowing that you made the right choice.
Me too. One final note. I kicked around this idea for probably 2 years before I,
Oh,
I made the jump. I looked at
okay.
every brand. I looked at the proximity of where they're manufactured, how they were manufactured, how they attach, ups and downs, lefts and rights. And I settled on your product. And I'm happy that I did. I would do it again. And for those who are looking for testimony of, hey, I'm on the fence. What should I do? Pull the trigger. It's a low level monetary investment with high level output and efficiency, and it's made extremely well. I would do it again and again.
How much did I pay you to say that?
None.
I got a new poster boy. You're my guy.
There
That's
you go.
incredible. I mean, and that's why I bought into this company
Sure.
and the whole thing. But the principal was like, we can make this better for everyone, but it's a
Yes.
secret. We got to
Yes.
get this out there. More guys should
Yes.
benefit. It is hard enough. There's enough stress. Let's bring this down so we all benefit.
Hmm.
Man, well,
Great.
thank you for making time. You are an exceptionally busy individual. I
Very much
appreciate
so.
you
But it
making
was a
this work.
pleasure, and I appreciate you having me on with a call with you to go over your product and then future growth of your product and how we're going to see more across the country and specifically in New England.
Yes, there is more to come from you and I and what we can do to help other expose other contractors to get them set up and have someone with experience be able to help them get set up in your pocket. So I'm very excited. Yes.
Me too. Me too.
Wonderful. Okay, well, thanks, Nick. It's good to
Uh,
connect and we'll talk to you soon.
yeah, it was a pleasure. I'll talk to you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend.
Thanks, you as well. Cheers.